All right, let's speak now to Sinawo Tambo, spokesperson for the EFF, joining us in studio. Thank you so much for being with us, Mr. Tambo. So the party, I understand, didn't want them to get bail. Are you glad that these three suspects have abandoned that approach entirely?
Absolutely. So as the EFF and as the Gardee family, we are pleased that the suspects are so cowardly that they would abandon bail themselves, because we had called for the state to oppose bail in order for it to give an instructive message to society that the judiciary takes matters of this nature, crimes of this nature, extremely seriously. So in order to take victims of gender-based violence into confidence, it was important that these suspects would be denied bail. But also for us, we understand them to have been a flight risk, because they were all caught either fleeing or in hiding. So this means that to release them is to basically allow them to go back into society to be free. So we welcome their abandonment of bail, even though we know it's based on cowardice, because they know that the communities are outraged and they may not be safe if they are released.
So Hillary Gardee was laid to rest this weekend. So it's been a very emotional weekend for the family. In this case, it feels like the wheels of justice are turning pretty quickly. Is that some relief that then on the Monday the suspects are in court? Or does that make it just so much harder to look at these men who may have been behind her brutal murder?
Yeah, I don't think there's any measure of relief that can be had in a situation like this. I mean, of course, we want justice to be served, and we want it to be served swiftly. But what happened to Hillary is extremely gruesome. I mean, she went through an unspeakable amount of torture. And I think today that all dawned on us, and it's going to affect all of us as we go into our own personal isolations, go into our homes, and remove ourselves from the soft landing, which was the Gardee home for the past couple of days. Hillary Gardee was tortured for days. She was kidnapped, her daughter was thrown out of a car, she was raped repeatedly over a period of days. They kept her alive in order to torment her for a very long time. And then she was beaten, she was stabbed across the breasts, she was stampled upon, and she was shot in the back of the head. So what happened to Hillary is unspeakable and cruel. So to see those men today, the size of those men, their stature compared to Hillary, who was quite petite, just caused a further amount of pain, I think, to everyone, and we're all in shock.
What is the party's response then? They said they were ill-treated by police. They need medical attention. And I understand one of the suspects, Philemon Lukhele, he said that he knew Gardee. He told the court, and he sent condolences to the family. What's the response to that?
I think it's an utter audacity. I mean, it's shameful that he has the audacity to say that when this incident happened at a lodge which he owns, which is what is being revealed, and much more is going to be revealed as we go forward. We don't accept such condolences from a killer. We can't accept those. So our response to them either being ill-treated or tortured in prison is none of our business. In fact, we are hopeful that even worse may happen to them as they go to Nelspruit prison, because what they did to Hillary Gardee, it shakes one to the core. So we are not concerned about the medical attention of hardened criminals who tortured a young girl and shot her in the back of the head. We're not concerned what happens to them. And I think that...
So you believe these are the right men standing in court?
I think the police are on the right track. I don't think the police, because they've positively identified and linked them with the crime, and one of the suspects is said to have made some form of confession, but we'll see as the process proceeds, and on the 9th of June. So we don't care what happens to them. We don't care, and in fact we are outraged that their medical attention has become a priority in this matter rather than getting justice for Hillary Gardee.
Are you any the wiser as to the motive here? We know there was a financial motive. Well, a bank account was cleared out, but the police minister Becky Nkala at the weekend saying that it seems like there was a financial side of things and a political side of things. What does that mean? What do you know about motive?
Look, at this stage, we can't give much clarity into motive outside of the general speculation that has been happening. But I think we must caution the Minister Becky Nkala from adding into the fuel of speculation, because he's dramatizing this tragedy. He's creating rumor mongering, he's creating speculation, he's creating suspense as if it's some Hollywood movie that let's all, I mean, they would be pulling us to the side saying we're all going to be shocked about it. What is that? Because we're in shock, we're mourning. And they seem to be treating this like some sort of caricature. So we must caution against that. Let us get concrete logic and reasons as to what the motive was for kidnapping, gang raping, and murdering Hillary Gardee before we allow ourselves to dwell into some speculations about political motives and economic motives. Let's get the crux of the matter on the table. And he mustn't invite us to the table of speculating as if we're in some soapy. We're not. This is real life. Real life people have been affected by this, and he mustn't add to the fuel. He must be the one who leads us towards concrete evidence, not make us speculate, wonder and imagine what motives may have been.
All right, so you want facts.
Yes.
So Hillary Gardee's murder has sent shockwaves through the nation, and then it was revealed sort of the caliber of the suspects. Has it shocked you? I mean, let's look at Philemon Lukhele. He's in the office of the ANC chief whip in Mpumalanga. We have Lawrence Mkhatshwa, I think the adopted son of a very prominent leader in the ANC, Father Sinawo Tambo, who's spoken about moral regeneration. I mean, obviously he's not responsible, but are you shocked at the names?
I think it is shocking, but also we must realize that such crimes are not only committed by petty criminals. Even prominent people in society have the ability to be cruel, have the ability to be inhumane. And that is what it is revealing. And what is scarier is that prominent people probably have a pattern of having done things of this nature before and getting away with them because of their economic power, their political power, and basically terrorizing communities. I mean, we're told Mkhatshwa's wife died under mysterious circumstances not so long ago, and that this Philemon Lukhele was part and parcel of assisting that matter into disappearing into thin air. We're told of the dodgy activities that happen at that Ntsika Lodge as well, by people. I mean, students have moved out yesterday and today from that Ntsika Lodge, saying that they can't stay at a crime scene of that nature. So there's a pattern of behavior by prominent people in society, and it's not shocking that prominent people in society have the ability to do something like this. What we must be more concerned about is whether Hillary was the first victim, whether there are other victims as well to these criminals who kidnap people and do this type of thing.
Do you think she was targeted because of her father, Gardee, linked to your party, of course, a former leader?
We don't know at this stage, so we can't really play into that sector of thinking. But I think we must try and keep Gardee and the family in our prayers. So what is nice about a funeral is that there's a mass gathering and there's a lot of distraction around it. So you're able to ease your pain by engaging and interacting with different people. He has now been left alone to confront the reality that his daughter was brutalized and killed.
Yeah.
And that is the most difficult thing that is going to happen to any father in this country. So I think we must keep him in our thoughts, we must keep him in our prayers, we must keep that family in our prayers, because these revelations, as much as one could have reached the conclusion that if they had kept her for so many days, some things happened to her, for them to be confirmed in the charge sheet is extremely rocking to everyone. So I think let's all try and keep that family in our prayers, and let's hope that this is going to make us all aware that we need to fight against this scourge of violence and not allow ourselves to go through a trauma of this nature again as a nation.
All right, thank you for your time this evening and for coming in. That was EFF spokesperson Sinawo Tambo.